Would you ever make an investment that you knew had an 87% chance of failure? I don't know why anyone would do that, but real estate agents do it all the time. And in fact, they do it with their careers. Can you imagine spending a whole ton of time to go through the principles and practices class? You wait for PSI to get back to you and finally give you that ability to take a test. You study for it. You might not even pass the first time. Then you get into the business and you're paying all these fees and dues and everything else. You announce it to your friends and family. You're ready to get out there. You get some cool business cards made up, and oh God, about a year later, you're out of it. Would you ever do that? Yeah. Actually, hundreds of thousands of real estate agents do that every single year. Yeah, there's about 1.6 million real estate agents right now in America, and that number every single year gets bigger. Why? Because there's this prospect that all of a sudden we can make unlimited income. We can have a schedule that's super flexible. And many real estate agents never realize that. In fact, very few do. I'm gonna give you 5 reasons today that I see real estate agents fail. They're very simple, but I know because I'm able to get agents accelerating in their careers every single year that this is gonna be of help to you. All right, so the first reason number 1, is a lack of a short-term and a long-term strategy and plan. And what I mean by that is a plan actually has a deadline and a purpose associated with it. It's not an idea. It's not, hey, I want to earn $100,000. That's my plan. A plan actually specifies what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and why you're going to do it, okay? It gives you the how behind it. It's the full picture so that every single day that you're waking up, you know what you're going to do. It's not, I hope somebody is going to call me and we're going to talk about real estate today. It's, why are they going to? It's because I've reached out in these several ways. Now, I see real estate agents all the time. They don't have this annual plan. And we usually start ours in October and then January reaffirm again. And the reason that we do that is because whatever you do in the present shows up in real estate about 90 days away, right? So if I make phone calls today in order to reach out and say, hey, I've got some value for you. I want to help you out in this way. Can I advise you in any particular area? Hey, did you know? If you're educating people, their response times usually takes about 30, 60, 90 days. And then again, that happens even with transactions, it's going to take you about that 60, 90, or 120 days in order to close out a transaction. So just remember for yourself, whatever you're doing today in the present, you're 6 months from now. Yet that self is going to thank you or kind of be disappointed. I don't want you to be disappointed, okay? So people don't have that long-term plan in place. They also don't have the short-term plan in place. And here's what I mean by that. If you're looking on your calendar and it is not specifically segmented into segments of time, some people call this time blocking, for what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how you're going to do it, you're going to find yourself frustrated in real estate and easily distracted. And what I mean by that is you're going to show up to the office. You're going to jump on MLS. You're going to look at a couple of properties. You're going to text a couple of other agents. Maybe you get distracted by some emails that are coming in. You have lunch. You go out, maybe you show a home or two, and then you go back and your significant other says, hey, how was your day? You're like, yeah, it was good. I was in real estate. And you really did nothing. And that's a problem that I see for so many real estate agents every day. It's not the amount of time that you need to commit to it. It's the quality of that time in that short-term plan that matters here, right? It matters. If I've been selling real estate for over 10 years, and I probably spend, honestly, less than 4 hours, maybe 6 hours a week actually doing the real estate. The rest of my time is dedicated towards building agents up and accelerating them in their careers. And the issue is that people take that task that should only be about 4 to 6 hours a week, and they expand it over their entire week. And that's exactly a huge problem. People are going to take this time, they're going to stretch it out, and then they're going to wonder why they're not getting the results. And I'm telling you, it's specifically because they do not have a short-term plan in place, just like they don't have a long-term plan in place. Another thing that I see for reason number 2 is they fail to follow up with potential clients. Remember this, every single person is either going to transact now or they are going to transact later. I'll say that again. They're either going to transact now or they're going to transact later. If you take the response in your mind that says, oh, I don't think that they're going to buy today or within the next 60 days, that's called like an active buyer, or a seller who wants you to come out to their property, then you are going to leave so much money on the table. Because I don't know about you, but when was the last time you just go, and I'm a decisive person, you walk into a store and you say, I'm going to buy exactly that today? Well, probably not. You're going to likely go into a store, you look at it once or twice, and then you go back. I have business opportunities right now that are inside of my cell phone that I haven't called them back. Why? Because I'm busy, and everybody is busy. So if you're reaching out to leads and you're not following up continually, you're going to miss out on so much business. Not because people don't like you, you're not being salesy. All you're doing is failing to realize that these things take time. So it's either transact now because they are actually ready, or transact later. I will tell you what, I am not in the market for, I was not in the market for a house 2 years ago. I wasn't in the market for a house 3 years ago. But if someone reached out to me and talked to me then and said, hey, are you interested in buying a house? And I was like, no, I'm good. I'm very happy where I am. 2 years ago, 3 years ago, that's exactly what I would have said. But if they had stayed in touch with me, they'd realize that today I'm in the market for a house. And that's the simple proof of it. Every single person will probably in the next 10 years, that's just what the stats say, be interested in either renting, buying, selling, or investing, or joining real estate. And for you to miss that point, you're gonna miss so much business. And honestly, you're gonna have a lot of missed opportunities for yourself and your bank account. All right, reason number 3, lead generation. Lead generation is so massive. Now, why did I say lead follow-up beforehand as reason number 2? That's because 85% of the business is actually made into lead follow-up, right? Lead generation is pulling it in to say, hey, yeah, I'm potentially interested. But the 85% of where all the money is made is, hey, you had mentioned that you were kind of interested in this. Are you still interested, right? So reason number 3, lead generation. We're talking social media, sphere of influence, online leads, connections to other companies, neighborhood marketing, niche groups. And what I mean by that is, do you go to a church, do you go to a gym, are you part of PTO, anything like that, right? Or is it, I go to the Italian American Club or something like that. That is a niche group. Few people actually take that short-term, long-term plan, and instead of just talking about their major business, breaking it down to those specific areas. So not only do I have a long-term plan when it comes to my sphere of influence and what I say to them, I also have a short-term plan. A long-term plan might look like, okay, I'm gonna host 2 events this year. I'm gonna host 4 items of value that I send to people. I'm going to send 12 emails out. I'm gonna put on this software that's gonna follow up with them every single, right? And the short-term plan is, this week, I'm going to call my sphere of influence. I'm going to remind them about that mailer that I sent out to them that illustrates exactly what you should do for your chimney so you don't have a chimney fire as we're approaching fall. Or in the springtime, here's 3 companies that are very valuable in your specific area that can help you with irrigation and landscaping and gutter cleaning. Like, that is valuable that people want to hear from. And so when you call them and you say, hey, listen, I just sent that list to you. Did you get that? I know Jim at that company. You should be working with him. They're thrilled. Now, guess what? The next time that you do call them about an open house that you're having, about something that's related directly to real estate, guess who's picking up the phone? They are, because you provided items of value to them. What's reason number 4? Reason number 4 is going to be the lack of systems and structure in your business. Now, I say this all the time to people. If you want to go faster, go alone, right? That's just you moving. That's your natural talent. If you want to go further, go together. And that's a team atmosphere, that's systems, and that moves you from that learning phase in real estate up to the leverage phase in real estate. And eventually you can get to the legacy stage like I am, and I'd love to tell you how to get there. So this is items like a contact or a client relationship management system, CRM. Using systems like broadcasting for text, voicemails, mailers, monthly updates, all that. We don't see that happening often in the real estate industry. In fact, what they end up doing, and I'll talk about this in a minute, they take this one-size-fits-all plan and they kind of blanket it over all clients, all buyers, all sellers, online leads, my personal and past referrals. And because of that, they end up in the worst atmosphere possible because they're never going to realize what they should actually realize in real estate. which is all of these interactions and relationships with customers. And they get exhausted because it's, how could I ever call through 100 people or 1,000 people, in my case of past clients, in order to talk with them? They don't have the systems. They don't have the structure in their business. They also don't have the coaching. They don't have the time blocking in place. And that all relates to systems and structure. That's reason number 4. And the last one, reason number 5, is that you're not familiarizing yourself and understanding the facts about real estate. You don't understand the financing, appraisal, title, inspections. You don't understand about surveying, environmental implications. You don't understand how it impacts you when you sell a house and your accounting, building codes, fair housing. People are like, oh my gosh, isn't there attorneys for all that? Yeah, there's an attorney for it. Yeah, there's a lender for it. You're not the master of either of those areas, but you do need to know enough about that. It's funny. Buyers are obsessed with getting home inspections. Why? That home inspector is not a master electrician. He's not a master plumber. She's not a master roofer. She's not any of those things. But they trust them so much because that's the title of what they should know a broad spectrum about. Yet real estate agents will get their license, walk into a house, kind of stand in the corner and be like, yeah, it's got a gleaming hardwood, right? And you wonder why you don't sell a lot of houses. Whereas when I walk into properties, I can advise you on so many different areas. Obviously, I'll preface it or put a caveat, hey, you're going to want to talk to your attorney or lender or whatever it is, but I know a ton of that stuff. And yes, some of that comes over 10, 12 years of experience or having an appraisal certification like I do, but most of that came from, honestly, following around home inspectors, sitting with lenders, and not for drinks, but to learn about the loan products that are out there. And that's how you become excellent. You know, at one point I spent some time with a billionaire and he told me this. I said, can you just give me any advice? He was like, David, be in command of the facts. Always know what's going on in your industry, because you can therefore know and speak to your product better because you know it better than anyone else. You would never get into a car and a car salesman just is like, so let's just drive. And you're going to be like, okay, it's a cool experience, I guess, right? No, all you're going to talk about is like, okay, it feels great. But when they're able to describe all the different components that are happening in the vehicle, you feel like you're actually not being sold. You're in an experience. And that's what you want to provide to your clients. So what you know you can sell, be in command of the facts. The last thing I'm going to talk about here is a lot of times people don't align with the right brokerage. They don't align with the right brokerage. And it's kind of sad. And that's because what they think is they align with either, I'll give you a little breakdown. They either align with a brand, which they think is going to sell for them, and actually it's the brand saying, oh, it's because of us that you're selling. But I'll tell you what, I've never seen a balloon sell one of my properties. I've never seen Warren Buffett, although he's a great investor, sell any of my properties. And honestly, as much as there's genius minds who are CEOs of companies, no matter what it is, even the brokerage that I'm a part of, they've never honestly sold any of my houses. So my job as a real estate agent is to pick the platform that pays me the best. And I don't mean splits. What I actually mean is ones that have the best training for you, the ones that actually have people who are invested. When you close a sale, several people are benefiting on that, and they're always ready to pick up your phone call. And what I also want is I want massive collaboration. The worst environment you could be in is one where you walk into an office and it feels like, oh, how'd you get that business? Or it's like an older lunch crew that's just hanging out and not really doing anything. You wake up in the morning to go to the office, be a part of a community maybe, but honestly, we're here to work. We're here to make some money. It's not about having this top, crazy split. It's about being able to make the most at the end of the day in the bottom lines. And that's what I've been doing for agents for over 5 years, and getting these guys to massive production levels. I've led a team to do over 650 sales last year, almost 200 million in sales. I know I have the processes in order to get people there. So hopefully these 5 tips helps you succeed in your business. And if you have any questions, be sure to reach out.